Player One estuvo en la sede central de Electronic Arts en California y pudo probar FIFA 19, entre otros juegos, con cambios en el gameplay como Active Touch para el primer control de pelota, Time Finishing para mejorar la definición, 50-50 Battles que emparejan las pelotas divididas y Dynamic Tactics para darle más herramientas a los jugadores, sumado a la vuelta de las licencias de UEFA Champions League y UEFA Europa League. Al respecto, pudimos hablar con el productor de gameplay y el director creativo de FIFA 19.
Great touch on the ball. What a goal! Lovely first touch. That wasn't easy. Superb individual skill. And Ribéry on the move. And he's put it in the net for Chelsea. Looking confident with the ball at his feet. Excellent first touch. And there is a goal! Celebrate, young man.
In terms of the gameplay, we wanted to give more control to the players, so tactically and also with each and every touch they take. So like the dynamic tactics is huge, like completely overhauled how tactics work and made them more meaningful. So new offensive tactics, new defensive tactics. You can change how narrow or how wide your defense is versus how narrow or wide your offense is, and switch formations on the fly just by assigning them to different tactics. So defensive, you can have one formation. Offensive, you can have a completely different formation with different tactics, different instructions for each player, different roles. So much more customizable in terms of the tactical options, and easier to use because you can just do it while playing the game. You don't have to pause the menu and spend minutes changing everything. You just do it beforehand and it's saved, and then just while you're playing you switch. But yeah, it's like just more meaningful overall when you do a defensive tactic like constant pressure. Everyone's going to be going for the ball and getting more tired quickly versus sitting back, and the difference is so clear to see now.
He had to get his timing perfectly to convert that. He couldn't quite manage it. What a goal! Well, his timing had to be spot on there, and it was. Oh, what a great goal!
Fundamentally, it's about authenticity. You know, we're football fans, and if we look at last year's game, there was obviously a missing piece of that puzzle. We obviously represented it in a generic capacity, but both the Europa League and particularly the Champions League are such powerful brands. They're very iconic. The look and feel and atmosphere of a Champions League game is very different from a regular game. So it was important for us that we kind of brought that back and added that extra layer of authenticity on top. So, and we've done so as much as we can. So we've obviously got all the in-game branding, the iconic anthem, all the rest of it, so that look and feel is very different. But we also wanted to take it a step further. So in the English language, we've got another set of commentary team with Derek Ray and Lee Dixon. So not only does it look different and look authentic, but it sounds authentic.
I am Pep Guardiola, and this is FIFA 19 Tactics.
We're going to get the ball up into their half of the field much quicker.
Sometimes it's really difficult to create chances.
All the games are different, and we use a different way to approach them. Every manager, every team has a plan. If it doesn't work, try to change a little bit during the game. Follow your instinct. Follow what you like to do and do it.
We continually want to strive to bring the best game we can. You know, we're FIFA gamers ourselves, we're football fans ourselves, so we know what it means to the fans. And one of the continued challenges we have is making sure we also bring an experience to all the different kind of ways people play FIFA. We're very unique in that we have a lot of different demographics because there's so much in the game that you can engage with that, you know, you get people who just play foot, people who just play career mode, people who just play kickoff. So it's important for us that we kind of bring experiences across the board to all the different types of users. So we're continually looking to engage in the world of football in different ways, because one of the, again, to kind of continue to talk about Journey, one of the things about Journey was we kind of looked at the game and thought there's no real experience that really kind of allows a casual player who's never picked up FIFA before, maybe he's not even into football that much, but they hear FIFA's a great game. There was no real experience for them to kind of get into the game without the kind of pressure of you know, online play or whatever. So part of the philosophy around the Journey was to really kind of give an experience that people could play the games kind of safely without the pressure of online, but at the same time learn not just about the culture of football, but also about the actual mechanics of playing the game, because FIFA is a very complex game. So it's important that we kind of cater to users from the core to the casual, and the Journey was an example of that. So we will continue to take that philosophy and continue to look for experiences that kind of, you know, separate it from the previous years and cater to all different types of demographics. So we will never say we've done enough. We're always pushing ourselves, and that is fundamentally because we are FIFA players and football fans.
Player One llegó hasta San Francisco para visitar los headquarters de Electronic Arts. El campus está formado por 4 edificios, 3 de los cuales son de oficinas y el restante dedicado íntegramente para esparcimiento, con una impecable cancha de básquet con piso de parquet, un gimnasio de primer nivel, comedor y guardería para los hijos de los más de 1.500 empleados que día a día pasan por sus instalaciones, estaciones de juego por doquier, un museo de gaming y hasta una tienda de café y de merchandising son varias de las opciones que estos edificios brindan para todos. Player One fue el único medio argentino invitado al EA Summer Showcase, evento en el que Electronic Arts le muestra a la prensa en exclusiva y tiempo antes de sus lanzamientos los nuevos títulos de la desarrolladora. Junto a periodistas de Chile, Brasil, México, Canadá y Estados Unidos, pudimos jugar FIFA 19, Madden 19, NHL 19 y NBA Live 19.
Over the course of the last few years, you know, a lot of us have been part of this journey rebuilding, you know, NBA Live, right? Starting in 14, 15, 16, we took an extra year off. I think that was a bit of a turning point for us. So after 16, we took that extra year to really focus on how are we going to be different, right? How are we going to attack our competition? How are we going to improve our gameplay? And I think with 18, with the launch of the One, a whole new way to play, a connected player experience within your player lock, career mode, live events, co-op, and multiplayer, I think that was sort of a turning point for us. So getting that, you know, small win under our belt on 18, I think gave us the opportunity in 19 to really start building some feature depth and differentiation. You could see it in the gameplay, you see it in the animation, you see it in the new modes like court battles, and the different global courts that we put into game, from courts in Brazil to Paris to Philippines. I think it's the investment in that time and taking a little bit of that time off to really be strategic about, you know, how we invest in our game, and also listen to the fans. I think looking at, you know, what the fans want, looking at what our community is saying, looking what they're saying about other games, and looking at the competition, what's working for them, what's not working for them. I think really that time that we spent really helped us. We have been trying to find our identity as a game, and I think it's easy in sports to just look at, okay, this is what all the sports games do, this is what the competition does, so we have to match them. But there's no reason to switch if you're just going to buy the same game. So I think for us, really creatively thinking about our design and looking at how can we be different? How can we create a fun basketball experience that is something that we can offer to our players that isn't what, something that they can't get in the competition. And I do think like our online play is very strong. Our 3v3 game, 5v5 online, is really stable. It's a lot of fun. The off-ball mechanics, we're beginning to improve a lot more. This year, adding more off-ball mechanics, as well as, I think the one in how we design the progression in that experience and how you earn rewards, very different from how you earn them in the competition. So I think we're just trying to carve out our own path and really just try to make a game that's fun for our players that is different. And I think that's always going to be our sort of through line as we think about our design in the future. How can we be different? Not just against our competition, but against all the other popular games around there, right? So I think that's how we innovate, and I think that's an opportunity that we have as an NBA game, as a challenger. We can take some risk and we can experiment a little bit and have some fun. And I think that's been a blessing for us in developing the game. I worked on NBA Street back in the day, and we had WNBA players in NBA Street. So we've been doing this for a long time. But yeah, this is the first time, at least in EA basketball games, that we have a female created character. I know some of our other sports titles have done it too, but I think within the context of NBA Live, within the one, you really do have the freedom as a female created player to participate in almost every single mode within the one and progress your character. So we invested in the inclusion of females in 18, which allowed us to, again, build some depth there in 19. And when you play on the streets within the one, it's perfect because you get to play with and against female characters. You get to unlock them for your squad. So it's not just about me creating a female character, but I could also recruit, Alisa Leslie or, Candace Parker or Maya Moore to my team. And they have unique skills, right, and abilities, and even icon abilities catered after some WNBA players. So it's really, you see that throughout the game and the influence throughout the game.
American football is primarily an American sport, right? But we are trying to grow the sport internationally. That's a big push from the NFL, that they want to see American football grow as a sport and be bigger in other markets. So, we're trying to prove ourselves as a way to expand the game. And so video games can be that way to prove, okay, how can people that don't live in America and follow the sport every day understand the sport and learn the sport? I think that's, one of the key pieces is, how do you get people who are playing FIFA, for example, to understand how to play Madden or how to play NBA Live? I think one of the biggest barriers is the controls itself, the controller. Once people learn how to use the controller and all the different buttons and everything like that, it's really then just a kind of a muscle memory type thing as they're learning what does what in each game. And so for us, it's really kind of how do we build out the most in-depth and complex control set we can that's still intuitive to users, that they can play the game and understand how to juke or how to spin and do these different moves that they might not be familiar with because they don't follow the sport, but they know how to do it in the game, and so they can have success when they're playing Madden. I think the biggest thing we did this year was the real player motion piece. When it all comes down to gameplay, that's the key for any game that you're doing every year. It's really the game itself. And so with real player motion, it's how players perform on the field. It's that running, that control that you have over somebody when you're moving with them, that it's the responsiveness that you feel like they're not skating on ice, they're actually running on a ground, and they're planting their feet and making those cuts, and it really feels natural and organic. And so that's probably the biggest thing we did this year. We've been away from the PC market for about a decade now, and it really just felt like the timing was right. You look at the advancements in visuals, with consoles moving to 4K, PC, you can go even higher than that, and the game can just look amazing in that world. So, we've kind of, that was one piece of it. Another piece is you look at the popularity of streamers, and a lot of streamers like to use PC as their platform, so it gives them an opportunity to have, another way to get people to stream Madden and be influencers that are talking about the game that way. And then the other part, too, is the market was there. People wanted to play on PC again. And so we want to get Madden in front of more people possible, internationally as well. It's a lot easier to get the game, that way through PC than it is through console. So just a lot of different reasons came together to make it a time to jump back into that PC market. Just a few years ago, the concept of streaming was a very niche, very small thing, and it's exploded. And so for us, it's how does your game present itself that can be best suited for a stream. If you're playing it competitively, what are the things that the competitive players want to have in the game that makes it a better experience for them, but also not leaving behind your traditional franchise fans or the guys who've been playing, the game for years. So that's the big challenge for us every year, is how do we progress this in a changing landscape to keep everybody involved and get the new players who are coming in that are looking to play the game in a specific way, very interested in what you're doing, but also not alienating anybody who's been playing the game for years.
Y así llegamos al cierre de una nueva edición de Player One, donde el gaming es deporte. Recordá visitar nuestro sitio web en teisport.com/Player One para más información de deportes electrónicos y videojuegos. Además, seguinos en Facebook y en nuestra cuenta de Twitter en @PlayerOneTIC y disfrutá de transmisiones de eSports en TIC Sport Play. Muchas gracias por tu compañía. Nos encontramos la semana que viene con más Player One.
Audio Jungle.